We're recording.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Welcome everybody. Pre-answer survey. I don't think I promoted enough. Not maybe.
I also think just a lot of folks are really overwhelmed in the last couple of weeks. So.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I have zero judgment.
Yeah.
People are like, and I'm out. 2016 is over for me. This is it. No, it's totally fine.
Just stare and smile. Yeah, just keep doing that.
And we'll just do like a time lapse and Sean doesn't move. Everyone else is a blur and Sean's just like fixture. All right. So of the 4 people that responded, 100% wanted to make things. And we had talked about doing box sets, but like Alex was saying, I feel like everyone's just a little bit tired to do a huge push. Maybe I'm projecting in that scenario.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there's the box set thing. There could be some coordinated effort around like having the ability to buy stuff either on the Indy Hall Arts site or like, you know, like the whole point is some curation, right? Instead of just like, here's all the things you can do. Oh, here on the screen.
Yeah. All right, I was trying to join the chat.
I think we see other people come on. Cool.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Mute all the things. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Yeah, let's see if people join. So it's the curation aspect
I
of
think
it.
the curation aspect to it. I like the charity component to it. And I like the value add of the box set being like, we've pre-chosen some stuff. So if this speaks to you, like, you just skipped a bunch of steps. Right? This is the thing, whether it was like, this is the thing for the person who loves X or whatever. My concern right now is actually less people participating. Then once the ball's rolling, that's not
That's not going
hard.
to be the problem. Okay.
I think that organizing around marketing it, actually putting it together, and then getting it in people's hands for the holidays with, a month to spare is, that could be a full-time job for somebody.
Yeah.
Easily. So like that's my big concern is if we're going to do this, I feel like we need to have a bunch of things lined up long before now.
Yeah.
To do it.
Yeah. So I'm fine with tabling that and making that like a set, like not the focus.
Yeah.
I have like 0. I'm not the kind of person that gets offended if I can't do something.
Yeah.
I do think maybe Shauna talked about doing box sets in general and maybe having an extended timeline where we just phase those in at some point next year.
I think that's a great idea.
And then once the holidays come, we can do something specifically branded for the holidays related to charity or whatever.
That's great.
But, just start that conversation more after the new year.
Yeah, I don't think that it's not being able to do it. It's just, it's not trying to rush it. Because I think Kin Shop is awesome. I would love to see Kin Shop continue on.
Yeah.
And if we I always thought, seeing like a couple shelves right underneath the windows there for people's stuff, products that can go into Square, just be there. And I think if we start gaining that type of,
Just work on rebuilding Kin Shop right now.
getting people's products in and just somewhat organized or something like that.
Like the fact that I couldn't even really respond to technically Billy with here's a place to go to buy stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's like let's get to that. Like, let's make that the mark. So if somebody was like, hey, I wanted to buy stuff, we could point them to a specific
So my
thing.
question then is that a mark that we can hit even before? Like, what is the minimum that we need to do in the next few weeks to even make that possible? Like, are we still trying to hit the holidays at all, or are we just rebuilding Kin Shop up and through March? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to like get it.
There's stuff for sale online now.
Yeah.
You know, so in my mind, Kin Shop is there.
It's already there. Okay.
I think that there's a variety of artists, but maybe not a variety of things.
Okay.
So I think that could help, you know, start like building some more momentum or something.
So maybe then what needs to be done isn't so much related to the product, but just in terms of building a few marketing elements so we can kind of make people aware of what's there.
What's there now? Yeah.
Like a curated list,
Mm-hmm.
like on, I don't know, where it can do like just a static page or something. We could just do
You
like.
can do a collection, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they're kind of I mean it's a long list, you know, the more you add, but we have I think a kin section, we have a selling the series section. We had a section just for Kin Shop at one point. I forget what's live there now. But also I think that what is Kin Shop? Is it going to be online only? Is it also a physical thing?
Yeah.
Because then we have to hold on to inventory, and when sales come through, somebody has to pack and ship.
Yeah.
If it's either way, whether it's online or physical, but we need to make sure that we have the products here if we're putting them for sale online or anything.
And then where they go, like who handles that?
Exactly. Like, are we putting them into just a cabinet in the back, you know, or are they physically available in our gallery space? You know, the reason Kin Shop was able to happen last time is because we just had that, and I put up shelves. You know what I mean? So now there was something to fill.
And you were able to like walk in and buy stuff. Like we really didn't do any online sales, nothing significant anyway. And like that's my concern is I mean marketing promotion is great. Maybe it's something we center around the holiday parties even getting kind of close. But like there's a very hidden expensive part of shipping. Like the advantage to box sets is the same thing a bunch of times. We can batch it and make sort of an event out of it. But like to take on the not just the time but also the liability if somebody buys a gift and if for some reason it doesn't get there, like that's on us. That makes me a little bit nervous. So
you're saying that we shouldn't necessarily promote Kin Shop for the holidays?
I feel like anything for the holidays right now is rushed, frankly. That's just like that. That's
I'm putting up from my list to do today or tomorrow to put up on my site. Not guaranteed for the holiday.
I think that's completely reasonable. I'm just trying to make sure everyone's train of thought.
If we were like, what are we gonna do for the next 6 weeks? If we had nothing else to do, it would be another story. And if we had, but
which I think is totally fine. So I think then the question right now that we're having in general with Kin Shop is what are we going to do with it? So maybe that's the bigger question. And that box sets are somewhere like that's a long-term goal, potentially. I could see box sets maybe working for Valentine's Day if we assume we're not too burned out from the holidays and reconvene in early January. And maybe just keep it really small and simple. Because the nice thing about Valentine's Day, it's a super simple. Like it's much more toned down than like Christmas per se.
Yeah.
But even if we didn't do box sets, then do we want to have product here? If we did have product here, is there a way that we could maybe have shifts every week or so it's not just Sean that has to handle doing the shipping and the online sales side of it? Is there like a way that we can shift responsibility between people so that it's not so much pressure onto one individual?
Potentially, yeah.
So I'd be totally as long as I just have to have structure.
Yeah, we've got to get it right. It's got to have it simple enough to get it right once, so that we can say, all right, here's what it takes to make it happen, and then have people. I'm totally cool federating that work as long as it's being done and there's some sort of accountability.
Because I don't see it.
Okay, we still
we
recording.
can still record it.
Just in case you want to come back.
Yeah.
I like your approach though in the like. So we have things online for sale.
Yeah.
That's just what we do, and that's not really going to go away. But I like your like very low barrier thing. Like if we do want to test a Kinshop box set idea for Valentine's Day, what if we just do one?
Yeah.
Make it super special.
Yeah.
Tell everybody if they want to contribute something, it has to be something along the lines of
Yeah.
theme of love.
Yeah.
And we can all, like, you could maybe your heart record prints or something, I don't know. I can find something along those lines, you know. Kelsey has a card or something that relates to that. And
we could still do charity, and we could give to like LGBTQ or any kind of charity that's related to.
Absolutely.
Well, and just to the charity point, I had a conversation with somebody today who had approached me about doing the Phil Lennon's Camp food drive, like, and tying it to the holiday party or the town hall. And I was like, look, I'm all about it. My concern right now is that people are like that we run into like charity fatigue, basically.
Yeah.
And the reality is like this is the time of year where everyone's thinking about it normally. We've got a heightened sense of it for a lot of reasons as well. I both want to capture that, but I also want to remember that like we have another 10 months out of the year that aren't crazy. Aren't as crazy. So like,
Hopefully.
there's nothing wrong with putting like, in an ideal scenario, we've got like once a quarter, we've got something in mind, right? Something that doesn't necessarily get our attention, get other people's attention, and fill in a gap. So yeah, I would love to continue to make charity a part of this as well. With the caveat that it's also got to at least pay for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, and I don't think it needs to be a negative thing. I like the idea of if we can get a certain, like, if we get a certain number of people that participate in a boxing party, then that increases the percentage. Like, I like that idea of having built-in leeway and control without it necessarily being like, and we're going to give all of the profits, and then like it leaves this kind of weird space with the artists and with everyone else. So, yeah, definitely, I think controlling it is fine.
The other question, and this is more of like a goal, not a question, I should say. I think having an event-specific box set would be cool. I also think it would be cool to do like a subscription of some kind.
Yes.
Where like once a month is probably too much, but like once a quarter, we send you a little box of cool stuff that's made by local artists. Give you a mix of people in our community and a mix of people outside of our community. I think that's all. That's got a lot of potential. And
I just want a jam subscription.
the jam subscription.
I told Molly I'd wait until the crazy summer was over, and then I'm like, so when can I build you a subscription?
I mean, and also we don't like. I mean, Mike's got plans for this fall. I think this fall or whatever, like coming up. But after that, we don't really have anything like coming up.
So
It was really cool when we had Kinshop up that we were able to shop there for a birthday, for a thing, you know. So I'm also going to try and push that idea too. I mean, my Christmas shopping was going to be all going to go through our members and start there and branch out locally. And that's how I'm going to be doing shopping. So,
I mean, would it be possible just to get like really short bookshelves and put like a row of them along this front wall and just make that how we start having product here?
If it's on wheels, we can kind of put it there anywhere. My thought was like up by the windows, so it's like we can have any events that's still available or visible there, but we can have just product.
I didn't know if the baseboards would cause any kind of problem. The heater, right? The baseboard heaters.
Yeah. What about?
There would be a problem to have shelves right up against that.
I don't think so.
I don't know anything about baseboard.
Just
I mean, I wouldn't put anything that melts over time.
I haven't lived in winter.
My chocolate sculptures might not last there. But. But I would love. I mean, I think Kinshop is awesome. I would love to see it move forward in one way or another. And I think it's just getting the participation, people wanting to be a part of it itself through it.
I
take
think
shifts of it.
yeah.
You know, like it should be a thing. I don't know. If you're a part of it, you have to not have to, but you should. A couple posts a month or something, you know what I mean? Or post through the Indy Hall Instagram. So it's not just dropping product in, it's also being part of the pushing the marketing workflow. Like if you have product, and it's very easy to post through Indy Hall Arts. I mean, everybody can have it on their system.
What happened to the Instagram rotation? Is that still happening?
Oh, yeah, I'd love for it to keep happening.
It's not happening, but that would be an amazing. It's not happening. It would be amazing if it happened more often.
So if we did we could just make it a package thing, right? Like if you want to sell product through Kin Shop, then you're also signing up to do Instagram like once a quarter or whatever. Like you also have to work how many rotations at it doesn't have to be too crazy Broad City co-op style, but like on some level, just having expectations ahead of time so it's not any just going on.
We don't really have like a walk-in traffic, so we don't always need somebody at the register. And more members can know how to use the register of the thing. I think that if there's an event happening, then somebody should be there that can sell product, like with Abby's 50-person.
I just know that I'm not here all the time, so
Sure.
I try to be really careful about suggesting things that mean that Sean's going to be on the
No, I appreciate that, but I mean, it's also
it's
not good if it's just one person anyway.
Yes, it's more of like we need a list of what are the things that should happen and making sure that if something is happening, we've got somebody on deck. And if not, that's okay too. But then
all members need to know how to check people out.
Which is, I don't think is really reasonable. Like it's not even knowing how. Again, it comes down to. I think no matter what we do, there's a sense of formality of handing somebody a credit card to run a charge.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they're not the person in charge, there's like
it can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No, that's reasonable. So then maybe the thing is we wouldn't sell all the time. That we would just store it here, then we could have events quarterly or first Fridays or whatever, then we sell the product. But we just need a place to store it in the meantime. So whatever we store it on could be something that maybe we could turn it around or do something that's some way of enclosing it and bringing it out easily. Okay.
I think if I take a big step back from all of this, it's also like who is this stuff for, right? So there's the version where we sell to Indy Hall members, which is like, it's great that people know that there's an option, but we never wanted to make it be like the Indy Hall gift shop, or rely on that. So like it's relatively small. The advantage to online is we can get beyond that, but then we run into shipping challenges, unless it's heavily streamlined, which is like, that's why I like the box set as an idea in general, just one more kind of plan, or a subscription box. Again, it's like somebody can run point and know that all the steps are being followed through.
Yeah. Versus
all like ad hoc retail.
There's a project
scares the shit out of me, frankly. Yeah.
I think that if like a box set is like the low entry, then we could start like thinking on ideas of who might be appropriate for that, and preparing what one of those box sets could be. And then once the new year hits, we can start hitting those people and being like, do you want to be involved in this?
Yeah, I feel like there's still some decisions to be made as to how Kin Shop is going to fit into the new Indy Hall. At least that's what I'm kind of getting from the conversation right now. And I don't think it's fully reasonable to expect this to be made at least well over the holiday season.
Yeah.
So I think postponing it and maybe I just following up in January, a couple weeks into January, giving everyone time to kind of recover and think about it.
And I would like an overall, like a larger Indy Hall arts meeting, just to kind of regroup. We haven't had one since we've been in this space, so we can talk about what we want the space to be, work, and include kinshop as one of the high-level conversations to have during that hour. You know,
there's an element to kinshop in terms of, as a new member, the way that Ken, and I mean part of it is because I participated in Ken, but the way that kinshop and Ken kind of create this sense of creating together in a ways that just co-working doesn't. So I feel like finding a way to keep it as an apparent thing is important. What that means or what that looks like, whether that's just like marketing once a month or twice a month so that new members can see it and know that it's there.
I think thinking, I mean, even your point about the Instagram takeover, I feel like that would be a more valuable like momentum builder than the pressure of a retail project.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, promote like some of your stuff, but along with other people's stuff. And then like we can, you know, is there a making part of the process? So it's like, you know, having little video clips from your Twitch stream and having shots of Lauren screen printing in the in the lab or whatever it is, and then building in some events and things that we can do together as well. Yeah, I'm with you, because otherwise it's just sort of like, hey, we've got a bunch of people that make stuff, let's throw it in a box, which is not, like, that's not, that's not us stepping up to the bar that we set for ourselves. It's not about making it harder, I think it's about making it more meaningful, which is sort of what I'm doing.
But I think also, it's finding how to have a presence in a way that's meaningful but also consistent enough, because it's easy to forget that kinshop is there when it's not out in the open. And I think logistically it would make sense to maybe not have it out in the open all the time. At the same time, then we have an element of obfuscation, whatever I can't think of today. There's an element of like it's invisible, like you can't see it.
Sure.
So then how do we handle that, and how do we utilize what we have available to us online to kind of remove some of that invisibility that happens.
If it was just a byproduct of the Indy Skills channel, because that's an event where like it's happened. I feel like someone says it once a month that they want to learn how to screen print. So like there could be a drawing element to that, and then there could be a screen printing element to that. So it's like I could teach someone how to. I know I can teach someone how to draw something. I'm sure other people can too, but I'm speaking for myself there. And then like I can do that in a class, or something like that. So that's like a Saturday thing, a night owls thing. So that's a community thing. And then there's printing class, like someone volunteers to do that. So then they're like, I'm working in coordination with the person who teaches the screen printing thing. Shop is just a byproduct of having learned how to do a thing, having acquired a skill.
It's almost like the graduation show for an improv class sort of thing.
Yeah.
Really inside tonight.
Cool. So I'll update the group post with just some other thoughts that we have.
I know, that's why I thought that you would like this
Can you
one.
post the recording, Alice? I could do that on Indy Hall Arts, but it's probably more appropriate on the Indy Hall.
Yeah, sure.
And then that we're gonna be talking follow-up in January and talking classes and getting more people involved in the overall process.
I think classes are a really good idea. Because you're right, it's like it's filling a demand rather than trying to generate one that we don't really see. And it can create a follow-on interest.
Oh, yeah.
And it would be cool if someone who isn't interested in making something, but
Hey, I'm so late. This is for the kinshop. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It would be cool if like someone who's not interested in making something but who is really good at sales, or like you mentioned someone mentioned marketing earlier.
Yeah.
Someone who was good at that, like that's part of it. And then there's like this hub of people. So like again, me as the drawing, for instance, Sean can teach how to screen print. Someone else can teach the marketing aspect, and like we're all working in coordination. It's almost like a semester. And again, the product is like you don't have to sell it here, but you have a product that you could sell.
Yeah,
that's something that we all taught each other.
Yeah.
I also wonder if it would be valuable if we're going kind of the class route to do like a quarterly update of Indy Hall Arts, just to everyone. Like, here's what here's the link to what we've been selling. Here's the class that we did on February 14th. Here's what people said about it. Here's where to catch up on videos and things like that. Because I do feel like Indy Hall Arts, even in my own life, is kind of like this ancillary thing, but it's also been a really critical component to kind of reinvigorate the creative side of my life. So I feel like, as important as it is, it still doesn't always end up on the forefront in the middle of like everyday day. Like I don't always remember to check the arts channel and stuff like that. So doing like what Lydia does, but maybe doing it on just like a quarterly versus a monthly basis.
Sure.
And we can just collect stuff in the doc as we go along, log it, I think might be valuable to kind of keep people joining as they go along.
There's a sense of progress in the arts channel that's really fascinating to watch as a relative outsider. That's like a day-to-day progress, but unless you watch it, well, I would say on one hand, unless you watch it on a regular basis, you don't get to really see the growth and evolution. Also, if you watch it every day, you don't get to see the growth and evolution.
Yeah.
It's like it's too granular. Like every day is a little bit different. It's a little bit extra. So I think we've relied on shows as the sort of chapter marker.
Yeah.
And shows are just such a tremendous amount of work to produce that if they're the only chapter marker, it's really hard to go from show to marking the chapter to show to marking the chapter as well. So maybe it's, spread things out a little bit more differently, which can also be nice because we're not going to be so reliant on the seasonality of First Friday and the front door being open and all. Like if we're doing events, we can make it a destination. It could be on First Friday. It could also be on second Wednesday. It doesn't really matter as much anymore. Or any crowd we're going to draw because we said, hey, something is going on. And we did a great job of getting people involved and reaching out and things like that. So let's not. This is probably one of the best examples we have of we got really good at doing something, and the worst thing we can do is just do the thing we got good at in a new place instead of like reevaluate what we have now and say, well, what did we learn from doing it for multiple years? How can we build on it, but also create something that plays to the new strengths that we have? That's to Sean's point about having a town hall of sorts. Like I feel like that's something we haven't had really in either arena just yet, which is not how do we do all the things that we've always done, but what are the new things that we see as new potential here that were a pain in the ass before, or we just didn't have the time or bandwidth for before, or whatever it might be, and forge forward with something entirely new. I would almost love to, like the amount of collaboration that went into producing a show, I would love that amount of effort to go into producing a quarterly box set instead. Like, it's not an either, it's not actually an either or, but the amount of effort to do a really good job with a box set and the amount of people that can be involved in making it amazing, running from, figuring out what goes into it and actually making those things, the marketing of it, the production of it, the fulfillment of it. Like there's lots of hands in the same way that a show allowed people to make art, share the making of art together, but then also the night of the celebration. We can still multiple opportunities for celebrations along the way instead of like a once and done opening night and then on to the next show.
And it also will help to focus the Indy Hall Arts YouTube channel, like having like a rhythm and a structure to kind of like, okay, so our quarter ends in here. What are we doing, and how do we need to follow along? What can I promote along the way?
Yeah,
it's much easier to do strategy that way.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't have done more with shows.
Yeah, sure.
And for me, it's just I want to hear what everybody else wants. You want the box set as a place for people to come together and work together. You know what I mean? I have a million ideas of what I think we can do, but I don't want to tell people that. I want to hear what other people dreams and desires are that they don't know how to get done, or we do it together.
I feel like I just want to make sure that we're having transparent places for people to join in on the experience. And I think that's been a little bit harder here, not necessarily in a negative sort of way, but just in terms of the location of the gallery to the space and kind of losing that sense of retail space. And like, it's not negative.
Yeah.
It just means that
we knew it was going to be different.
We knew it was going to be different, and I'm totally fine with it being different. I think it's actually very much in line with where a lot of artists are having to live a very online kind of, shopping and artistic and marketing experience. So I think it's fantastic in terms of the opportunities it could bring us, but the buy-in is less obvious.
I agree with you completely. We need to work hard to create and share that,
and
voice the experience online.
Because of that, and also we just did stuff in the old place. It was very rogue. It was rock and roll. It was let's just do it. And which is awesome. But I feel like in this place, it's the challenges are to like really think about the design, really like understand how it's going to work instead of just throwing a huge party and everybody having like a blast and come together and hang stuff on the walls. But this can be actually like really thought out and planned particularly. And I think that's awesome. That's why I'm excited about this space, because instead of just, I don't know, doing anything to the space, we can, I'm not saying it.
Ignoring Sarah's random mural on the pool that I'm going to be painting over.
But I mean, we can really put I don't know, more thought into what other people want to do and how to do it and how to do it together. Sam was looking at the front here and she was like, we could do so much better with this. And I just keep thinking, what big art installation could we have people just walk through the most greatest entrance into this place ever? That could be one of these projects. We come together and we're all tying string from the ceiling.
There's still so much work to do.
But it's like thought out, and as we're thinking about it and planning it and designing it, we are very open to what we are doing and sharing that. And I think that buy-in will come back in and people will be more open, to join.
Yeah, and I don't think it's an issue necessarily getting people to join. It's just an issue of when you have a gallery from a project management perspective, you're like, okay, I need to build a website. I know what I need to do. You have a gallery, like, oh, we're going to do a show. You need art on the wall. These are the elements of the show. Whereas where you don't have that retail space, you're writing an elevator, it's a more corporate building. But then it's just that like sense of like, okay, what can I do fit in? What are the elements of this piece?
So,
I think we just have to like spell those out.
We have to spell it out. At the same time, I will point out that while it was a rare solo show, that this show was not as different from our normal shows in terms of attendance as really even I expected. I think it was as good, or in some cases better. People actually came and stayed for a long time.
I'm not talking about Saul's show. I'm talking about the difference between Ken even though and Saul's show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I understand we don't have like the ground floor, but we still have a gallery.
Yeah. I think the majority of the people who came to our shows knew they were coming to our shows, and we can, like I said,
the walking traffic.
We can keep doing that. I was blown away by how much walking traffic, even with as difficult as it can be to get in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And like while the lobby and the elevator feels a little weird, people walk in and their first impression is like, I would not have guessed that this was hiding inside here, which is like an amazing moment of delight to watch people have. I think
restaurants do that all the time.
We can work.
I think I think part of what's different for me is my first show at Indy Hall. But with Ken, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I've just had a different kind of experience of like, I experienced the more collaborative aspect of the show part,
which we just haven't had a chance to.
Which we haven't done. So it's not necessarily meant to be like negative about like all shows amazing.
Sure.
And I think we can definitely continue to do shows here successfully. Mm-hmm. I think it's just there's a difference between walking through the gallery space and kind of having that constant sense of reminder as you walk in through the door.
Yep.
But I could just totally be projecting my own.
Yeah, but I'm hearing
tired Sarah.
I'm hearing challenge.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like it's just not
design
as explicit. Like but we can
to
design
a challenge or problem. How do we create what you got from over there?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
The other thing, and you had the benefit of sort of joining the arts in that old space. And I feel like Kin is a great example of like, I would say there's a couple of apexes on like the curve of like
mm-hmm.
that was definitely a high watermark in a lot of ways. And like what you didn't get to see was all the time where there was no art on the walls anywhere.
Yeah.
So like, we've got.
I mean, I nailed my painting, so.
No, I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking about that. It's like, we've barely scratched the surface of starting to really shape both the surfaces and the uses. So that's one of those things where, in a matter of months to a year, I think we're gonna look back and be like, remember when we were worried that we couldn't, like, that there wasn't enough going on the walls? So I think it's again, I'll sort of, not to repeat myself, but repeat myself. I think it's good to take what we were inspired from in the old space, in the old operations, and I think the biggest theme that I miss as well, and I think is our unique strength, is the doing stuff together. That's what made Kin especially special.
Yeah.
More of that, absolutely. Absolutely. And whether there's a show or not, honestly, but that's why I like
projects, classes. I think that that's biggest challenge, and I appreciate you bringing it up, that it doesn't all fall on to me. But I feel like moving forward, and if it does fall on the one person, we're not doing it right. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's like the main point that you're bringing up, and that's going to force it to be more collaborative. So I appreciate you.
Although I do think more people would respond if you set the bird post. Because they're used to seeing you do it.
No, that's just because I yell at people.
Yeah, no, it's totally good. Totally good. I'm just saying,
threaten them to
in January, I think having a larger arts conversation and involving Kin Shop as part of that, I think would be really good.
I think that this is a fantastic, like, precipice, the right word, is that the right word to use here? But like, lead into the larger meeting. I think that this conversation is fantastic for that, because I think that we kind of know, okay, our main things are, let's do this together, find out what people like together. If it's not a show, then it's more projects, and we know that focus on that. I think that you just brought up some great points here. And I appreciate you having this meeting, because it's a good lead into a bigger conversation with more of the community.
Yeah. I think we got an opportunity so there's the internal build, it's like building on the finding things to do together. There's definitely some sort of another thing to do together is some active collaboration in sharing work in progress. Whether that's a ring of Instagram posting and reposting, when somebody posts, other people repost each other, just to help build that momentum and visibility. I think being even a little bit strategic around that, once a week, twice a week, having a schedule for that would be amazing for building momentum and help create that visibility where it feels very invisible right now. I think it's a very real thing, and I think that's a thing that we can do a little bit of over the next couple of months, because if anyone is selling anything or promoting their work, or whatever it is, there's immediate value to that, without a doubt. And then I think the last thing to me would be also like, what other stuff is going on? There's little touches and dabbles into this. It always felt like it happened too last minute to actually pull off. But like, is there something that a handful of people could collaborate to like get a table at an event, or something like that?
Sure, like a punk rock flea market.
Yeah. Totally.
They're not having it this holiday season. They just have to.
Right. But like to band together to be a presence at other arts events. Like, we don't have to produce everything. We can, the collaboration would be like, let's make something to go somewhere else together. To do something else together.
And I want to talk to Lance before Girl Scout starts, but I would just want to say, I think one of the coolest collaborative things that have happened recently here was the video. The fact that you and I were working on the video, and then Rob Jackson came in and did the music, and it was on another member, and then I used Michael Reynolds' music for another video, and you just used Michael Reynolds' music for
The same one.
that full circle, not just visual artists, creatives come together to create something like that. It's beautiful. That was
Yeah, and I
awesome.
think I want more
So I
of
don't-
that. And
yeah,
I think
more of that.
knowing where to fit that in it's not been difficult per se. It's just I gained a lot of inspiration from watching the pin shop artists, which is why I did the documentary, which is, dovetails and all this other stuff. So I want to make sure that I'm creating more of that opportunity for myself, but also for artists and also for anyone who is not participating yet, who would be interested but isn't sure about to do.
Yeah.
So I think having some kind of online strategy, some quarterly check-ins, that kind of stuff would go a long way to just kind of
I think so.
helping us all
Yeah, that'd be cool.
connect. I'll start a document. My note taking is not nearly as good as Mike Jackson's, and I'll have Mike
He's
review
just
it.
drawing everything. He's not taking
I
notes.
took some notes.
I've seen his phone
In
call
my great
breakdowns, and I've
beautiful
been like, I wish I could afford to hire you. This is amazing. Yeah, so I'll start a document based on my notes and invite everyone to kind of come in and edit it, and we can kind of
Fantastic.
use it to create a framework in January, so we don't lose track of the momentum that we have right now.
That sounds good.
And yeah,
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank
thanks
you
for
so
everyone
much
for
for this.
joining in.
Yeah.
No,
thank
thank you
you.
for this. This is amazing.
I'll send you the file, or you see the files when they come up, right, Alex? You don't need me.
I don't.
I'll email it to you. I'll just forward it.
Okay.
Thank you, Sue. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for letting me sit in. I didn't know whether it would be like giving out
Um,
the